What's up, 10 Skip? Oh man, my beard is getting crazy. I'm like ZZ Top status up in here. What's going on, YouTube? How you been? So earlier this summer, I brought out one of my Nitro monster trucks, and this is kind of what happened. And in the comments, a lot of you guys were like, yep, never gonna buy a Nitro. Oh man, electric is so much better, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have to be that way, guys. Nitro doesn't have to be a never-ending battle of tuning and pulling and fuel and ugh. Nitro can be just as easy and just as fun as electric. In fact, in some ways, I think it might be even better. Let me show you what I mean. Oh, girls. Your sweaters are so pretty. They're so pretty. Oh yeah. This is my Traxxas TMaxx. And this was sent in by James. Man, he just started a YouTube channel. I'm really excited about it. This guy has got an absolute arsenal. Such a sweet arsenal, in fact, that he was willing to give this to me. He sent it over, so a huge shout out to James. Thank you, brother. This thing is quickly becoming one of my favorites. So if I remember correctly, James hadn't run this thing in quite some time. It was just kind of sitting on the shelf collecting dirt, which is why he sent it to me. And I'm not a Nitro expert, but the only thing that I had to do was plug in the starter motor, change out a little piece of fuel line that was a little, you know, melty, crispy, replace the throttle servo, and put my own radio system in it. And you guys were able to tune in and watch me do all that stuff on the live stream. And we got this thing running that night. And this thing isn't anything crazy special. I mean, it does have a few hop-up parts on it, and James did replace the original 2.5 with a 3.3 big chungus. You put fuel in it, you put the starter on it, you only adjust the tune a little bit if it's especially hot or especially cold, or if it's not running just right. You turn it 1/8 of a turn, and the dang thing just works. I have electric vehicles that are more of a pain in the butt than this thing, honestly. So if you've been thinking about getting into the Nitro game, these trucks are old, but they still make them. You can walk into just about any hobby shop and buy parts for them. And they're, I mean, look at it. I think it looks pretty awesome. But that's enough talking about it. Let's actually do it. What do you think, girls? What do you think? Ready to make some Nitro noises? You ready to make some motor noises, Lily? Lily loves it. All right, so we're gonna put some fuel in it. This is 30% Nitro fuel. I have found that my vehicles like this stuff the best. So we're gonna dump some fuel in there. That should be plenty. Guys, I don't even have to take the body off of this thing. How cool is that? We'll set that aside. Radio on. Yep, we're good. Starter in. We're gonna let it warm up for just a minute, and then we'll be ready to rip. See what I mean? Effortlessly. It just goes. I don't know, Nitros just smell like nothing else. I love the smell of Nitro fuel in the morning. Just the sound, you know, echoing off the trees. It's just so cool, look at it. I mean, look at it. I'm driving one-handed, so I'm not even going full throttle. I'm, you know, maybe about 1/2 to 3/4. I mean, it's got some jam. was just getting good, and my transmitter battery is dying. The truck is running awesome, but okay, shut up. But seriously, I've run this thing a few times now, and it is quickly becoming one of my favorite bashers. Don't worry, my favorite basher is still the Arma Creighton. Don't unsubscribe yet. So let's run back to the bench, and I'll give you my reasons why I think Nitro might be cooler than electric. You know, comparing Nitro and electric is kind of like comparing Apple to Android. Some things one does better, some things the other does better. They both do some different kinds of things, but at the end of the day, they both kind of serve the same purpose. And one thing is for sure, they're definitely better than like Windows Phone. Remember those? So what do we think, guys? This thing is effortless. I didn't even have to take the body off today. I literally just put fuel in it, put the starter in it, started it up, and it runs awesome. So my experience with Nitro vehicles is they're built a little bit better than electric stuff. I mean, if we take a look at this chassis, I mean, this thing was built to take some abuse. Obviously, some of this stuff is aftermarket, but even the stock stuff, even the cheaper Nitro vehicles, they're just built to be a little bit more solid. The sound, the smoke, the smell, it just adds a whole other element to RCing that you don't get with electric stuff. And I know what you're saying, oh, but you gotta tune them, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Guys, I have not touched the tuning needles on this at all since I've had it. And I've run, I don't know, 3 or 4 tanks of fuel through it. I don't think this thing is any harder to work on than an electric vehicle. Like I said, the only thing that I had to do to it was just clean up a little bit of the fuel lines, replace some fuel lines. I put a new throttle servo in it. And that's really just about it, just tidying things up, really. And this is one that was secondhand. And James, I know that he used this thing. It's not like this was a shelf queen or anything. I mean, the thing is just, it's a fun factor that you just don't get with electric stuff. Yeah, electric's gonna be faster. Yeah, it's gonna be easier to maintain. Yeah, you just throw a battery pack in it and go. But anybody can go out and do that. I mean, it doesn't really require any skill. This, although it is really easy to run, it does require just a little bit of skill. And that makes it, I don't know, maybe more rewarding. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I know you're gonna. This is gonna stir up some stuff. Anyway, huge thank you to James for sending this thing out. You're a legend, brother. I appreciate it. And a big thank you to the 10 Skill Squad OG. You know who you are. And an extra special thank you to the 10 Scale VIP. You're, you know, right, these guys right here. For just $3 hairs a month, I make extra videos over on Patreon. Patreon.com/10scalegarage. Link in the diddly doodle, the thing. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. All right, guys, if this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found it. I like to do RC shenanigans like this all the time, and I've got some sweet stuff coming up. You're going to want to stick around. All right, guys, until next time. Chop, chop, chop and brushless stuff out here.